her.
Ruby Franke, a former family vlogger known for her YouTube channel Eight Passengers, arrested in August of 23 alongside her business partner Jodi Hildebrandt on charges of aggravated child abuse. The case drew significant public attention due to the contrast between the family's online portrayal and the alleged abuse. In December of 23, both women pled guilty and were sentenced to prison terms ranging from 4 to 15 years per count, with a maximum of 30 years to be served. Now, Laura, not Lori's, I'm so used to talking about horrible people. Ruby's eldest daughter, Sherry Franke, speaking out in a brand new memoir. In January 2025, Sherry Franke, Ruby's eldest daughter, publishing The House of My Mother, a daughter's quest for freedom, detailing the abuse she and her siblings endured. Joining me to discuss this memoir and the latest events in the saga of Ruby Franke, Robin Dreeke, retired FBI Special Agent, Chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program. Yeah, okay. The first thing I'm gonna throw this out there right away to shut it down, because I know there's people that start watching it going, she's out there to get money.
Mm.
And if you went through hell and people are questioning you and people are looking into your business and you just kind of want to put it out there, here's what happened. So stop asking me about it at the Kmart, if there was Kmart's. Here it is. Here's the book. She says she doesn't want any more publicity, doesn't want to be in the media after this, just trying to get it out there. And I don't blame her. Make a dime or more on this. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, anyone that's been through some a severe amount of trauma like that and exposure to the public eye, part of their therapy and recovery is to write it and vocalize it and put it down. And there's a demand for it. Matter of fact, the last thing that entered my mind was she's just trying to capitalize and it's all about her. Because the way she presented this, I watched the interview of her the other day, and I'm going to read this book because, again, it gives us data points of understanding. That's what I really think the point of a book like this is. It's not to throw someone under the bus. It's not to make a dime. It's to educate people so they don't make the same mistakes. And so the people around them can see the data points and see the behaviors that are unhealthy. So you can step in sooner rather than later to help save lives and save children from abuse. So that was the way I took this. I took this as a service. Yeah, she'll make a dime off of it, a good dime, hopefully. But I mean, she just got engaged. She wants to be a mom, and she wants nothing else to do with this. She distanced herself, I thought, from her mother by calling her Ruby. She doesn't even call her my mother. So she's from what I'm seeing attempting to move on, and I think this is her way of moving on, setting her record of what it is. She does not. She said speak for her siblings. That'll be their story to tell when they are ready. She said. I think she just wants to help others out through publishing this memoir of what this crazy looks like.
Yeah, and I think she's doing it very respectfully. I think it's really going to be an interesting look into homes like this,
Mm-hmm.
fundamentalist homes like this, where I think a lot of people, like Ruby Franke, operate in the shadows. Maybe not to the extreme extent that ended up happening when Jodi Hildebrandt entered the equation, but certainly the eight passengers life of Ruby. Maybe again, maybe not quite to that extent, but she had 2 million people who, for the most part, were going along with her kind of extreme way of parenting until it went too far when she put the video out of her depriving her son of a bed for months. Then kind of things started to go downhill, and it got a lot darker. But enter Jodi Hildebrandt. That really seemed to be the breaking point for Ruby in terms of, I guess, sanity. I would call Jodi Hildebrandt, when we look back on this, almost like a sex cult leader. And I didn't have sex cult in there until we learned that there was a physical relationship between Jodi and Ruby. That's according to Sherry and the allegations in the new book. But Jodi seemed to come in and had one thing in mind, and that was Ruby. Not her kids, not her husband, not anybody's well being, but seemed that she wanted Ruby and would do anything to manipulate her to be hers. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, from again, I haven't read the book. It's on my list. I saw her interview that she gave on ABC the other day, and I liked her lack of sensational language. So she tried to keep it very factual. She tried to be, like you said, very respectful. And some of these new allegations that she's saying about this relationship, not really shocking, believe it or not, because when I saw Hildebrandt come in, it literally to me looked like a when a predator grooms someone that they see as vulnerable and they groomed them into their cultish mindset,
Hmm.
and it looks like Ruby was definitely vulnerable. I mean, she's got so many insecurities that she's acting out these insecurities on her children and the world around her. And so when Hildebrandt saw, again, pure conjecture, my
Hmm.
point,
Sure.
don't know them personally, obviously, but it looks like from at least the account from the daughter that she kind of saw this vulnerable person that she could kind of take her popularity on YouTube, absorb that into herself, and groom her into the person she needed to serve her own needs, all under the guise of this fundamentalist way of looking at their religion. So yeah, what a sick, twisted couple that became.
What is disturbing about it, and I guess it really is an example of how someone can fall under the control of a cult leader, because that really, I think Jodi was like that, just not on a super mass level. I mean, they had their own individual clients, so in her connections class, and there's plenty of people who have spoken about it, how she's ruined marriages by driving someone this way or that way, all in a very controlling manner. So it's culty in a different sort of way. Culty in the terms of a psychologist, or pretending to be wannabe psychologist, or counselor, steering people in the wrong directions for their own enjoyment, I guess. And that's what's really scary about this is the people that were able to fall under her spell so easily. And Ruby definitely seemed to be one of them. But when you look at Ruby, she's someone who definitely sought attention, sought validation, and I'm guessing that's really, at the end of the day, what Jodi provided to Ruby.
So, there's a couple of techniques and methods that cult leaders will do. And again, I've read this in numerous cult books. As a matter of fact, that I started studying because of Lori Daybell Vallow or Lori Daybell. Um, and there's a few things that they do, and we've seen this in other cases we've covered. And that is one, the first thing they do is they love bomb, and they love bomb slash validate someone unconditionally for all things they're doing. And Ruby, I think, was vulnerable to that because here she is. She got a big, YouTube following, but I'm sure she's had some haters out there were doubting her. And so when you have someone like Hildebrandt come in and start love bombing, the other thing that they do also is they isolate. And so we saw that with the husband, and we saw that with the way she's saying that these people are worthy, these people aren't worthy of being in your life. The followers were the children, and then it's also for profit of some sort, and there's always a sexual component. And so, granted, I'm not saying this was a cult, but it's that cult-like mentality where you have one person at the front controlling the environment, isolating them from others, love bombing at the start, escalating into unhealthy behavior, and making a profit off of it.
Yeah. One of the big points that Sherry's making in the book, and publicly speaking out against, is family vlogging and the
Yeah.
inability for children to willingly participate and have any sort of choice in it, or have any sort of concept about how this may affect them 5, 10, 15 years down the road when they become adults, and their whole life, or whatever mom thought was appropriate to be on the internet, is out there for all the world to see. What's your thoughts on that? Should there be more restrictions on parents making a decision of what they're going to put online of their children? Now, the argument has been made even by Ruby's sister, and the aunt of Sherry. She's been making some statements, because she does family vlogging as well, that she believes there's nothing wrong with it. And the same way that she, signs her kids up to go to camp and give consent, is the same thing as her giving consent for them to be on camera in whatever, she chooses to put out there.
Isn't it sad we have to ask this question? Tony, I know you, and I know what a great dad you are. And I know that everything you do, just like me, and just like I would hope every parent, is every action I take every day, everything I try to do professionally was to gain the resources and experience to be the best father I could be. Because our only legacy we leave behind is not these things, it's the relationships our children can have with the world around them and their prosperity that they can pass on the next generation. So here's what Ruby did or failed to do, and all these other people are failing to do that they should have been asking themselves this question on vlogging. Who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for your benefit or are you doing it for the benefit of your children?
Mhm.
That's a simple question. Every time I remember this, my wife was so good at this. I have this, people say I have this great background, how to get to be the chief of the behavioral analysis program for the FBI, spy recruiter, FBI agent. And every time I had an opportunity to get another promotion inside the FBI, I get all excited because look at me, someone thinks I'm important. And I would come home and my loving critic slash wife, I'd get say, hey, we got an opportunity to do this. And she'd ask me one great question, which ruled all the choices I ever made in life. And she said, so that's nice. Does that mean you're going to be home more or home less? Because the kids just want to see you. They don't care who the hell you are
Mhm.
by title and position.
Yeah.
And so it always caused me to pause and remember everything I'm doing since I decided to become a parent is for my children,
Yep.
for their benefit, for their welfare. I am my son's best friend and my daughter's best friend. I am their loving critic. I am their chief of staff or whatever path they decide to walk. And to see someone trying to capitalize for themselves using their children, boy, that really sticks in my craw. I don't know about a law. It's a shame that they would need to have a law for that. But just like they should have a test for whether you can be a parent or not, huh?
We should start with the test before we because if we did the test, it would alleviate so many laws that we have to
I
put
know.
into
I
place.
so I'm sorry I got on my soapbox there, but the greatest pride and joy I have in life, if anyone would ask me what I do, is that I'm a parent to my kids.
Yeah, without a
I
doubt.
could I
No,
could
that's 100% true. And I think some people lose track of that, especially in a case like this,
yeah.
where I think the line can be blurred if you're doing that. Of am I doing this for myself? Am I doing this for my children? Am I doing this for a little bit of both? Ruby's argument would have been, look, this is making our money, our family money. This is providing us a life that we never would have had without this attention, without the income that now comes in from this vlog that I'm doing. So that's a good thing. I know her sister had said that she's setting money away for her children so they can have a college fund, so they can have a retirement fund. They're doing it now with the money. I think that is responsible. But then, yes, money is great and having the security is great, but you have to be balanced as to what you're putting out there. And I guess if you're able to do it responsibly, and that's through the prism of whoever the parent is, and there is a right and a wrong to that. If you are able to truly do it responsibly without it being exposing the kids in some sort of negative way for your own, wealth and worth, I'm okay with it. But when it comes down to we're crossing that line, and we're putting things out there that they're not old enough to understand the repercussions of how this might be detrimental or just embarrassing or uncomfortable in the future. That I think gets to be a gray area for some parents when the money part of it comes into play.
you, with everything, you got to play that tape forward, and that's what we always did, and I always do. To the best of my ability, is like, hey, it might have the short term gain. Let's play this tape forward for when they're all right. So they might be 5 years old now. It seems innocent. First of all, when you tip your, put your toe in the water, let's judge your reaction. All right, let's tip it here, and then the most important thing is you play that tape forward. So imagine your children 10 years from now when this is still on the internet because it doesn't go away. What's the reaction to them in their lives? Will they be happy, not happy with it? And are they, I mean, just if you got to start getting that complicated with trying to understand what the implications are, maybe you shouldn't be doing it.
Yes.
Really, because remember, life is very, very simple. It really is. My core understanding of human behavior that allows me to comment on human behavior in general is really simple. It's this: human beings will always act in their own best interest in terms of our safety, security, and prosperity for ourselves and those we care about. The core motivation for all of us is to feel safe. That's it. A caretaker's responsibility is to create a safe environment for our children and those we're caretaking, no matter what age they are, so they can move on in a healthy developmental way in their own lives and have healthy relationships. Because all our problems, all the challenges we face in the universe around us can be overcome if you have a healthy relationship. Crazy begets crazy. All the cases we cover are people full of crazy. How do you prevent your own children, the people in your own life, from going down that path? Keep it safe, free from crazy. If you have to go way out of your way to try to understand and rationalize and do all these things, that's a recipe for crazy.
Yeah.
I would back away.
Yeah, and children, they're going to copy what their parents do. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. And hopefully what they're imitating, what they're copying is a good thing, is a good example, a good way of living, and not a selfish way of living. Because if that's all they see, they're going to do the same for the most part. You may have some that break away, but not all of them are going to. And it's a good thing here in this case that Sherry had the strength, I think, to move on. It's not an easy thing to say to your parents or to your mom or your father, you know what, you really screwed up. And I'm recognizing it now at a young age. Normally, a lot of times it takes till they're quite older to come to that realization. But at 18 to say, I am better off without you and I'm going to be stronger without you. Bravo to her for not continuing to live that life and continue to expose herself to such a vile human being and a vile way of thinking and control.
The thing I loved about the interview most, from what I saw, was when asked if she forgave Ruby, she was really thoughtful, and she didn't really give a great she didn't really give a complete answer yet. She says, "I really am." When I was first asked that, I'm really trying to understand what that means. What does forgiveness mean? And so, to have someone at 18 being a deep thinker and trying to to delicately finesse and touch these important concepts, important ideas, and then share them with the world, that takes a lot of courage. And so I did not see this, like we said at the very beginning, as a sensational thing that she's trying to capitalize on. This, I think, is going to be hopefully a very useful, helpful book for others to how to avoid the crazy in life that doesn't do the most important thing: create a healthy relationship. I mean, think about this. For all these people that are trying to rationalize behavior of the money can do and the things it'll get you in life, where people are caught up in the cult of more and the disease of comparison that I love talking about to avoid. What gives you the greatest joy in the world? Is it going to be hugging a big bunch of money or hugging your children? When you think about the greatest moments of your life, I've asked this question on your show before, a long time ago. If you had 2 to 3 hours left on this planet, that's it. No time for bucket lists. You have 2 or 3 hours left. What do you do with that time? I guarantee you, it's not the things that you accumulated that you're thinking about. It's not, the education. The education is great, but it's not even those things. It's having a great, deep, fun conversation with the people that mean the most to you. We're smiling and laughing. I mean, I keep with me, and you all see me drinking from it. This is my mug. This is called Mugs with Coffee. This is from a video game, Skyrim, that I played with my kids. My daughter gave me this mug. I keep things in front of me and around me. My kid's right there, walking on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that I value more than anything in the world: title, position, anything. And so those are the moments. Always ask yourself, is what I'm about to do or say going to help or hinder a healthy relationship with those people I care most about in my life? That's the test for me. And hopefully it's a test for many, because again, part of what I think we do here is letting people know what crazy to avoid in their lives.
That it is. Robin Dreeke, retired FBI Special Agent, Chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program, and damn good dad, and also author of that book. The book is over on my other studio shelf over there, but it's on your wall right behind you. There's my finger right there. Unbreakable Alliances, out now wherever you get books. Do check it out. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Bruschi, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.